Good afternoon and welcome to Sunshine Reports and Osrc TV. I am Obi Chukwemeka. The need to sustain the current has again been highlighted. Leaders and members of the ruling All Progressives Congress APC in Akure South local government area of the state at a meeting pledged their solidarity, support and loyalty to the present administration. They applauded Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa for his strides at making life more worth living for residents of the state with people-oriented policies, programs and projects. Government House correspondent Wahab Bankole has details of the event.
It was a gathering of leaders and members of the ruling All Progressives Congress (APC) in Akure South local government area of Ondo State as they converged on St. James Caring Heart Mega Primary School Irowo in Akure for a meeting which centered on how to consolidate on the gains of the present administration in the Sunshine State. Some leaders and members of the party, including Professor Olu Aderounmu, former lawmaker Sunday Olajide, Mrs. Ronke Ojo, Femi Dennis, and member representing Akure South Constituency 2 in the State House of Assembly, Stephen Abitogun, while pledging their support and solidarity for the Aiyedatiwa administration, said his efforts at promoting good governance through people-oriented projects, programs and policies are visible to all residents of the state.
A fund release to Osrc to continue with their band of projects. Everything that had happened before now, we all saw it. Rather than using that as an excuse to, persecute or to, be fighting anybody, he has taken it so maturely.
The chairman of APC in the council area, Mr. Fesobi Akimolayan, who thanked the governor for changing the narrative of governance positively, urged more support for his administration. Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, who thanked the people for the show of love and support for his administration, promised not to lower the bar of inclusive and impactful governance, represented by the Secretary to the State Government, Temitayo Oluwatui. The governor reassured of his commitment to advancing the state.
Akure has never had it so good. For example, all the roads, all the project that is going on in Akure, he has instructed all the contractors to go back to site and continue, irrespective of the fact that he don't know who started it, but he said, and we know what we are gaining by his appointments.
The event also featured a special prayer for the success of the Aiyedatiwa administration. Wahab Bankole, Osrc News.
In the same vein, the Rotary Club of Akure District 9125 has described the governor of Ondo State, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, a leader who has raised the bar in governance with his various people-friendly programs, projects and policies since he assumed office. The president of the club, Semi Adegun, spoke while decorating the governor for service above self award at the Class Foundation luncheon and the award presentation in Akure, the Ondo State capital. Government House correspondent Zihimu Ebeme covered the event as the report is presented from our studio.
The Rotary Club has been watching development in Ondo State for a while and has decided to honor Governor Aiyedatiwa for his leadership role and immense contribution to make Ondo State a true place of pride within the shortest time he has been at the aim of our
of Mr. Governor to the state within the shortest possible time that it was at the end of affairs of the Sunshine State. The committee unanimously approved that an award of service above self be given to him for his remarkable commitment to the economic growth and advancement of the state. Let us clap for that.
Aiyedatiwa, who was represented by his deputy, Olajide Adelami, thanked the organizers for the honor and for recognizing the impact of his government in making lives of the people of the state more bearable.
Without unity, there's no way you can make progress. It was just a simple idea. People of different professions, dialoguing on so many things. Then the idea came that let us see how we can impact on humanity. And for over 190 years, I think you celebrated 190 years. 90 years, I heard somebody said it, and you've been doing that same thing. And the club has been growing, in size all over the world.
The governor described the award a recognition of his service to humanity and promised not to rest on his oars. He reiterated his commitment to executing people-centered programs and policies.
One of the things this club is doing is a replica of what government is doing. But there are some little areas where you have to fill the gap, and you take this money from your pocket. So I want to really commend you. So the governor is aware of the fact that you have a project, and therefore he said, I should let you know that government will be part of this project.
The recipient urged the club not to relent efforts in bringing the expected development to the people of the state, as government cannot do it alone.
And the present administration in Ondo State will continue to invest in youths as encapsulated in its 8-point redeemed agenda. The state governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, gave the hint in Akure while addressing a cross-section of youths at an event organized by Ondo State Ministry of Youth and Sports. Government House correspondent Ziyimo Ibieme again covered the event as the report is presented from our studio.
The program with the theme Value Reorientation, Panacea for a Sustainable Development in Ondo State, brought together dignitaries including students from various schools, youth organizations and core members. Addressing the gathering, Ondo State Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa, represented by his Deputy Governor Olaide Adelami, appreciated the Youth and Sports Ministry for putting together the event. The governor said there is no doubt that the 21st century has come with many challenges which the young and old must jointly battle. He called on parents, churches, educational institutions, as well as governments to find a lasting solution to the challenges. The governor said most of the youths have lost their decent livelihood due to their involvement in cultism, robbery, kidnapping, drug abuse, internet fraud, and others.
The importance of instilling the right societal values such as diligence, honesty, truth, and hard work, to mention but a few, in our youths, who are often referred to as future leaders, cannot be overemphasized. These values from the bedrock of morally upright and prosperous society.
According to him, the core values of his administration's agenda is human capital development, which is the foundation of socio-economic growth of the state.
There is no doubt that 21st century has come with many challenges, which both the young and old must confront headlong. How well they contend with these challenges will to a very great extent depend on whether or not they have the right values of commitment to hard work, dignity of labor, self-discipline, tolerance, patience, humility, integrity, honesty, and others.
The guest speaker, Mr. Jeffrey Abidoye, appealed to the gathering as future leaders to do the needful in bringing the expected development in the country.
The most disturbing development within the last 24 years is that we have deviated from our core values. We are deviated from ethical standard. We are deviated from our belief system. We are deviated from our ennobling, culture and tradition of honesty, of dignity, of decency, of decorum, and of discipline.
Head of Service, Bayo Philip, represented by a permanent secretary, Mrs. Foluke Tunde Daramola, and the Director of Youth, Mrs. Olukemi Okupe, said the essence of the program was to redirect the minds of the youths.
If you take a cursory look at the youth of today, you'll see that so many things have gone amiss in terms of their values, in terms of their attitudes. So many things have gone wrong. And we, as parents, as government, representatives of government and of the people, we need to come up with ways by which we can amend all these things.
We realize that oftentimes our culture and the values is being eroded, and the youth, they seem to be lost in it, because we notice that there's election malpractices is the youth.
Some of the students also appreciated the state government, saying the sensitization came at a right time. They enjoined government to provide conducive atmosphere where they can display their talents.
Today is International Women's Day. International Women's Day is celebrated in many countries around the world as a holiday. It is a day when women are recognized for their achievements without regard to divisions, whether national, ethnic, linguistic, cultural, economic, or political. International Women's Day has assumed a new global dimension for women in developed and developing countries alike. The growing international women's movement, which has been strengthened by 4 global United Nations Women Conferences, has helped make the commemoration a rallying point to build support for women's rights and participation in the political and economic arenas. The UN observes the day in connection with a particular issue, campaign, or theme in women's rights. This year's theme is Investment in Women, Accelerate Progress. Meanwhile, the Nigeria Association of Women Journalists, NAWOJ B-Zone, says there is no investment in women that is too much or a waste. NAWOJ B-Zone, in a statement to mark 2024 International Women's Day celebration with its theme Invest in Women, Accelerate Progress, said investing in women will accelerate the desired progress in the nation. The statement, signed by the zone's vice chairperson, Adiola Adekunle, and the zonal secretary, Adiola Adewale, added that the role of women in national development cannot be overemphasized, as they are saddled with enormous tasks both at the home front and at workplace. Comrade Adiola calls on the government and all relevant stakeholders to join hands in investing on women's education, healthcare, economic empowerment and leadership development to accelerate progress towards gender equality. She congratulates women on this year's celebration for their resilience and commitment towards nation building. International Women's Day was established to honor women and their existence after years of oppression. In a related development towards celebrating the importance of women to the world, a non-governmental organization, APRN Public Health Initiatives, in collaboration with Association of Women Living with HIV/AIDS in Nigeria, has gathered women to celebrate the 2024 International Women's Day. The event, which featured talks from various organizations, is targeted at reawakening the call for women equality and inclusion. Omoshola Adesoye reports that the theme for this year's celebration is Inspire Inclusion.
Every 8th of March is set aside to celebrate womanhood, and in Ondo State, APIN Public Health Initiatives, in collaboration with Association of Women Living with HIV/AIDS, ASHWAN, brought women together to deliberate on the way forward for women in society. Welcoming the women, the state coordinator ASHWAN, Mrs. Catherine Agbola, encouraged women to stand up for their rights in society.
It has been a long haul, but we are glad that you and my colleague and the stakeholders are alive and here to celebrate together. What are the things we want? Number 1, gender equality, women and girls empowerment, their right to healthier lives.
Also, the APIN State Head of Service, Dr. Folake Adurogbola, called on female gender to break all barriers and be useful for society.
If you take a woman out of a home, you take a woman out of the society, you can be very certain that that society will not really be what it should be. So we encourage women as we, commemorate the International World Women's Day today.
Others who spoke, including the representative of the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Women Affairs and Social Development, Mrs. Adeolofin, acknowledged the importance of women to societal growth and encouraged them to speak out whenever they need to.
We want women to silent at home and die silent, because when you speak out, they hear you. When you have challenges in your home, in your office, make sure you come to Women Affairs.
While addressing the gathering on ways to mentor HIV-positive mothers, Dr. Abitoye and her counterpart, Ms. Adijat Suraju, who enlightened the women on gender-based violence, opined that women's collective action will make a difference.
Please, you're peculiar. Don't let anybody, women can molest women. Hope you know, not only the men, right? So don't let anybody put you under the table. We are peculiar.
We'll screen everyone who comes to the facility, as well as some key program areas such as index testing, ANC, PrEP centers, as well as the OVC program.
Some of the participants at the event expressed their readiness to get involved in all aspects of social life and help others to rise.
Those teenagers that used to get pregnant, to know that they should not just stay there and feel that they are inferior, but they should try as much as possible to bring themselves out. And whatever they are facing, they should just speak out that there is help everywhere for them now.
To encourage our women that we should not be running for anything, that we should be bold, then we should depend on ourselves, that we should not maybe allow any man to maltreat us or to treat us badly.
APIN Public Health Initiative is a non-governmental organization working on the provision of prevention, care and treatment services to patients with HIV and AIDS, as well as public health communicable and other non-communicable diseases, while ASHWAN deals with care for women living with HIV and AIDS. Omoshiliola Adesoye, Osrc News.
Granting autonomy to local governments will result into a catalyst for change at the grassroots, highlighting the potential of local governments. Ayo Akinuni, a distinguished advocate and thought leader, stressed that communities are better equipped to address their specific security concerns, fostering closer collaboration between law enforcement and citizens. According to Akinuni, community-driven initiatives utilizing local intelligence networks are the best to combat threats, ultimately contributing to a safer and more secure nation. He envisions local governments as the engine of economic growth, capable of formulating policies that directly addresses the financial challenges faced by their communities. The public analyst added that granting local governments the control over their resources will enable them prioritize infrastructure projects and economic initiatives based on local needs. And finally, the Ondo State government has temporarily shut down the dump site along Mafo Road in Akure, the state capital. Commissioner for Environment Oyeniyi Oseni said the directive is to ZL Global Alliance, private sector participants, PSPs, and the general public. Mr. Oseni said the reason for the shutdown is due to the poor state of the site having filled up with waste and already been dumped outside the facility. He stressed that several complaints have been lodged by residents and road users around Igbatorema for access. Oseni directed that all waste depositions and waste collection by PSPs had to be done at a proposed sanitary landfill site in Akpomu till necessary remediation work has been carried out. And that is it on Sunshine Report. Thank you for your time. Good afternoon.